Chapter 5, An Anguished Sister. William was leaning against the desk in his home library, with a glass of whiskey in his hand, while Ephraim stood at his side. William was dressed in pants and a long-sleeved shirt, now with sleeves rolled up and top buttons unbuttoned, revealing part of his chest, and although the posture of his body seemed relaxed, his face had a serious gesture. Ephraim dressing as if he had just left the office, and his face was also tense. Suddenly the door to the library opened and a woman entered. The woman was tall, just a little less tall than William. She was white-skinned and had dark hair, a little frizzy, and it was short. She was dressed in an elegant, executive-style suit, like a businesswoman, with a knee-length skirt and a jacket, a dark-colored suit. She wore dark pantyhose and high-heeled shoes. The suit allowed intuiting a beautiful body, more or less voluptuous and sculptural, and the jacket and blouse allowed to know that she had large breasts. The woman's face was also beautiful, and her green eyes were particularly beautiful. Her age should be at least close to 40 years of age, and for a good observer it was evident that she was William's family. "Damned stupid!" exclaimed the furious woman while her face deformed with a fierce gesture of anger. "I want to slap you." "Hi, Emily, I'm glad to see you, too," William replied with irony and a certain resignation, as he took another drink from his glass of whiskey. "How dare you do such stupidity?" Emily continued as she stopped when she got in front of William, standing at a short distance. "What the hell happened to your mind to go see that blasted monster?" Emily added anxiously. "I think I should leave them alone," Ephraim said, cautious and eager to escape the argument between William and his sister. "You stay. If you are of the family you are also to suffer my anger." "And I also have things to tell you," Emily replied with a murderous look. Ephraim was a little intimidated, for he knew the character of the woman who was like a sister to him. "Emily, please, do not lose your composure," William said seriously and a little sad. "Do not lose your composure. You tell me after destroying a visiting room in a prison visiting that blasted monster," exclaimed Emily. William walked away from her, walking to the other side of the library, with the glass in his hand, and turned around to see her. "How did you find out so fast?" William asked. "Forget that I also have my sources in the government, including the Ministry of Justice. And so I learned how you used our contacts in ministry to make that absurd visit and how you armed that disastrous scandal in the prison. And how Ephraim has begged our friends in the government so that this shameful incident remains secret and does not arrive in the ears of the tabloids. Why did you do it, William?" Emily said, lowering her voice and trying to calm down. "I had to do it, Emily," William replied, lowering his eyes, somewhat embarrassed. "I could tell you about the damage this could do to your image and to the image of our corporation, when this is known, which I fear will be inevitable even if our contacts in the government try to avoid it. But that is not what worries me the most. What anguishes me the most is the damage that William does to you. Why are you doing this to yourself, William? Why are you bringing that monster back to your life, to our lives?" exclaimed Emily, worried about him and with pain, unable to prevent a couple of tears from spilling from her eyes. "Please, Emily. I know no one can understand, but it was something I had to do, but already it happened. I saw the devil in the face, and I told her what I had to say to her. Now it's over," said William, trying to reassure her, but with certain despair. "Did you consult with your therapist?" Emily asked. "Emily, I already told you I'm not going back. I have not been to his consultation for 2 months, William replied angrily. "That's why you did that madness. William, you must go back to therapy, you're not well yet, you need," Emily said compassionately. "Enough, Emily. I'm not crazy. What I did was turn the page, close a cycle, something therapeutic, if you prefer to see it that way, since you like psychology so much. But I guarantee that from now on I will be a normal person and I will not do more crazy things like that," said William impatiently. "With what? You will not do more crazy things? And how would you call pretending to marry you an 18-year-old girl of lower class, exclaimed Emily, angry again in accusatory tone. William looked at Ephraim with an accusatory look, and Ephraim shook his head. No, it was not Ephraim who told me, dear brother. Remember that I am the second most important executive of the corporation after you, and nothing that happens in the company remains hidden from me. Do you think I was not going to find out about the meeting with that girl, her friends, and her colorful lawyer? Emily replied with irony and some mockery, but also angry. No, I am aware of that, my dear little sister. And anyway, I did not intend to hide it. After all, sooner rather than later you will have to meet your new sister-in-law and welcome the family, answered William, sarcastic and cynical, a bit mocking. What funny? You're not going to marry that girl? Exclaimed Emily, also with sarcasm and cynicism, but with a hard look. Oh, yes, I'm going to do it. William replied with determination and defiant look. No, you will not do it. I will not allow it, over my dead body. Emily answered furiously. Well, get used to the morgue. William replied, raising his voice and getting angry. Oh, Jesus! Exclaimed Ephraim, looking down and shaking his head, expecting a terrible argument between brothers. In the next few minutes William and Emily exchanged angry cries, venting their rage, gesticulating with their hands, while Ephraim looked helplessly and uncomfortably at the discussion. You do not know anything about that girl. You picked her up from the street and you do not know who she is, where she comes from and what she is capable of. Emily cried, desperate and furious. I did not pick her up from the street because she is not a stray dog and neither is she a prostitute. And I thank you for talking about her with respect. William replied, shouting. And since you know what she is, you do not really know her, you do not know what she has done in her past, you do not know with what kind of people she has related to, she could being many things and could have done embarrassing things, Emily said. I know everything I need to know about her. I know she does not use drugs or drink alcohol, and she does not even smoke. I know she is not promiscuous, that she has had only one boyfriend and that she almost certainly does not have an active sex life. I know she has no criminal record, and that she only works and takes care of her sister and mother. And I know all that because I ordered the detectives from our security team to investigate her thoroughly, William replied. You ordered her to be investigated? That makes you look like a stalker. It seems you were a pervert who was harassing that girl. If it was my daughter I would like to see her away from you, Emily replied, bewildered. Then I suppose that I must thank that her is not your daughter, besides that it would be strange considering that of being your daughter it would be my niece, he answered mockingly. Oh my God, William! She's a damn waitress and you're one of the richest men in the country and the world. It's crazy! Exclaimed Emily in anguish. Fortunately, we do not live in such a class-conscious era anymore, Emily. If the royalty can marry commoners, I can marry a coffee shop waitress, said William with a mocking smile. William, even if you are the CEO of the company, you, like me, we must answer in front of board of directors and annual general meeting. What will they think of you? They'll think you've lost your mind and cannot run the corporation. Emily said worriedly. I do not think that they will dismiss me, taking into account the excellent profit of the last income statement. Besides, I think I have enough resources to face any uprising, William replied calmly. You are his lawyer and you are supposed to be his best friend. How could you be part of this? Emily said desperately, addressing Ephraim. What can I do? Emily, you know that when your brother decides to do something, no one can prevent it. It is useless to oppose, Ephraim answered a little ruefully. Ephraim is right. Emily, nothing will stop me from marrying Victoria. You can refuse to know her, to be her friend, you can refuse to attend the wedding and never accept marriage, but I will continue with you or without you, said William, firm and determined, but more serene. You do not understand, William. I only care about you, because I want you to be happy. I want you to be the man you once were. I miss my brother. I miss that good, noble, and cheerful brother who was always the light of our lives. I miss my dear William, because I do not want you to continue living in the dark, because I do not want you to keep moving away from us. I miss him too, William, every day. But you are here and I do not want you to continue hurting yourself. I do not want they cause you more pain, because you've already suffered a lot, Emily said in a voice broken by emotion and broke down crying. William had to make an effort to contain the tears, and approached his sister and hugged her, while Ephraim silently withdrew from the library to give them privacy. William kissed his sister on the forehead and cupping her face between his big hands made her see him in the eyes. Emily, I swear I would not do this if I thought something horrible could come out of this for me or for anyone. I know you cannot understand it now, because it really is crazy. But probably I get married with that girl be the last hope for me, to at least continue living, to have a reason to live, regardless of whether it is a good or bad reason, if it is a noble or selfish reason, whether it is with one purpose or another. Simply without this I do not think it can continue. When you get used to living in the dark too long, it's impossible to get out of it. You can take the man out of the darkness, but you can't take the darkness out of the man. I do not aspire to remove the darkness from me, I just want to find a way to do justice to my son, to do something for him, and find a reason to get up every morning, a force that forces me to keep going. I cannot promise you that I will be the happy and good brother that you long for, but at least I can promise you which you will still have a brother, and that I will not meet again my boy soon, but for that I need that girl. She will be my new beginning, and I need you to support me, said William touched and tenderly. Then, there is no remedy? Emily asked trying to calm down and stop crying. Not, but see the positive side, maybe I can give you nephews, answered William smiling in a mocking and charming way. You think you can get an 18-year-old girl pregnant? Exclaimed Emily teasingly, mocking her brother, playing the game. Well, on a good night, with an aphrodisiac meal and maybe some blue pill, I think it's quite likely. Maybe I should go to that guy you dated with, who was an instructor in tantric sex, maybe with a couple of classes can work the miracle, answered William mockingly and both laughed. Don't tell him about the guy of tantric sex to my husband, Emily said, causing William to raise an eyebrow. You know how you are the men of complexes. It still seems like a damn madness, but you do not leave me another option to resign me and support you, but not for nothing. As a condition to support you I want you to return to therapy, added Emily. Oh no, Emily! Exclaimed William disgusted and annoyed. I will not to give in. I ask you for something very small compared to the enormity of the stupidity that you ask me to support, Emily said firmly. It's okay. I'll do it for your peace of mind, William replied with a sigh of resignation. While in William's mansion that scene took place between him and his sister, far away, in Victoria's small and poor apartment and her family. She was sitting at the table with her friends Harriet and Nancy, and her little sister Kate. Kate, there's something important that I have to communicate you, Victoria said nervously, speaking with the girl. I guess you have not forgotten William. Lord William? Of course not. He is very cool. Have you seen him again? Kate replied enthusiastically and cheerfully. Yes, certainly, but there is something very important in relation to him that you should know. Kate, I'm going to marry William, said Victoria, serious and nervous. The little girl saw her sister with her eyes open and almost immediately laughed. You must be joking, Vicky. I'm not stupid, Kate exclaimed, laughing. I'm saying it very seriously, Kate. It's no joke. I swear to Dad, and you know that we do not swear in vain for him, Victoria replied seriously, and her voice a bit broken with emotion. Kate saw her sister and then her sister's friends. The girl had a look of surprise on her face, but then she smiled. That's cool, Vicky. I like William very much, Kate exclaimed cheerfully. Are you really happy that Victoria marries William? Nancy asked affectionately. Sure. But why are you marrying him, Victoria? Are you pregnant with him? I'm going to have a nephew, Kate asked, happy and excited. but a little puzzled. What? Of course not. I'm not pregnant, Victoria replied a bit scandalized while her friends laughed. But you've slept with him, right? Kate asked curiously. No. I have not slept with him, exclaimed Victoria embarrassed, blushing. That's very good, Vicky. You do not have to give men sugar until you have what you want from them, answered Kate as an adult woman who showed off her wisdom in life. Kate. Where the hell have you heard that? Where did you get that vulgarity? Exclaimed Victoria, scandalized and angry. Victoria and Nancy turned to see Harriet almost automatically, with accusatory looks. Do not see me. I know the rules, never talk about sex with the little girl. Harriet defended herself a little offended by the suspicions of her friends. I heard it on a television series the other day, and there's a song that I like that says something similar, said Kate proud and smiling. I have to watch better the crap you see on TV and you listen to on Spotify, exclaimed Victoria angrily. Kate, the affectionate relationships of a woman with a man should be based on mutual respect and an intimate understanding of the needs and feelings of your partner. If you want to build a solid and satisfying relationship with a man, you must start by respecting yourself and demanding that same respect from your partner, and you should not see yourself as a sexual object, making a man value you solely for that, Nancy said like a mother giving lessons to her daughter. I'm a little girl, how the hell do you expect me to understand a single word of what you're saying? Exclaimed Kate exasperated. Do not worry, Kate, I do not usually understand what she says, said Harriet mockingly. That's because you have the same mental age as Kate or even less. Nancy replied a little disgusted. Harriet stuck her tongue out at Nancy and Kate imitated her and both laughed in a childish way. Girls, please, said Victoria still serious. Kate, there is another thing you should know. William has asked me we move to his home, well, to a guest house that apparently is attached to his home, and I have accepted, she added. We are going to move to a mansion. How cool. And now you are going to sleep with him? Kate replied. What an obsession. I'm not going to sleep with him before the wedding. Maybe not even after the wedding, Victoria answered exasperated. You're not going to sleep with him. And still he's going to marry you. Is he stupid or gay? Kate said surprised. Enough, Kate. That's a matter between William and me, them adult things, and it's none of your business if I sleep with William or not. I just want you to be reasonable and collaborate with me, Victoria said impatiently. Victoria is right, sweetheart. Besides, William is only showing that he is a patient and sensitive man, that he respects his future wife and is understanding of his needs, and... Nancy said. Oh, for God's sake. If you continue with that politically correct feminist discourse, I'm going to throw myself out the window. Harriet exclaimed bored. Nancy saw her serious, while Kate laughed and Victoria smiled amused. Vicky, does Mom know you're getting married? Kate asked anxiously. Not yet, I'll tell her when I visit her this afternoon, Victoria replied, worried and nervous. Mom is going to get angry. Kate replied as if she felt sorry for her sister. I know, Kate. I know, Victoria answered. A few hours later Victoria was standing in front of the door of her mother's room in the hospital, gathering strength to enter. Victoria was dressed in a simple dress and modest sandals without heels. At last she sighed and went into the room, and saw how her mother was attended by a nurse, who was already finishing and saying goodbye. The nurse passed by Victoria's side and said goodbye to her with a friendly smile. Hi Mama. How do you feel today? Victoria said as she approached the bed and gave a sweet kiss on the cheek to her mother. A little better, child, and how are you? Victoria's mother replied. Well, I'm fine, Mama, said Victoria. For someone who had lived in the 19th century in the court of Queen Victoria, the mother of Victoria Walker would have a striking resemblance to Baroness Lazen, the former governess and in practice the adoptive mother of Queen Victoria. "And Kate?" Victoria's mother asked. "She is down with Harriet and Nancy, then she will go up, but first I wanted to talk to you alone, Mama," Victoria said, trying to sound calm, but unable to hide her tension. "What happens, Victoria? Something bad?" Victoria's mother asked in anguish. "No, quiet is not necessarily bad, on the contrary, it could be the solution to most of our problems and a hope. But, anyway, I'm sure you will not like it, but I ask you to listen to me with patience and understanding, with an open mind," said Victoria like a little girl afraid to suffer a strong scolding from her mother. "You give me fear, Victoria!" exclaimed Victoria's mother, concerned, frowning. Mother and daughter prepared to start a very difficult conversation.